Hello, and welcome to a tutorial for the F3 framework's assign gear. This is the Gearscript that will automatically equip units with gear that you define in the script. The script looks like this. Here you have the different loadouts that are defined by default. Each have you can see what they are here, such as commander, deputy commander, rifleman, AT, and this is the shorthand you're going to need for defining what type of character the placed unit is. So to begin with, this is a work in progress mission, but I'll use units I've already set up to show you what how the system works. But basically, as you can see, each unit is defined as being part of a group, and here is what what role the character is, basically. In this case, the R stands for rifleman, as you can see down here. Just a regular rifleman, nothing special. And if we look at this is also a rifleman. And here we have an AR, which is an automatic rifleman, as you can see here. So to begin with, you want to find out what type of characters you want in your mission. In this case, we have rifleman and automatic rifleman. We have a assistant automatic rifleman. We have a medic. We have an FTL, and we also have a squad leader. So in this mission, we have FTL, DC, AR, AAR, we have a medic, and we have rifleman. So now that we know how to assign a character a placed unit, it's the loadout that you want, we can go on to look at how you define what gear the character should get in the Gearscript. If you go down, you can see here, this is the general equipment, attachments used by classes. So in this Gearscript, you can see that you can define two attachments to put on the. Well, okay, it's kind of hard explaining it, but this is attachment option 1, which is one of the things that you put. It sits on the rail, and there's also attachment option 2, which is a flashlight, while the first one is an IR laser. Then you can basically have however many choices of attachments that you want, or silencers or scopes or bipods. It doesn't really matter, but the default setup is giving you two options. But that doesn't really matter. You can define the attachment. You basically figure out what kind of attachments and silencers and scopes or bipods that you want on the characters, the rifles that you're going to use. So, for example, in this case, I am using, since these are supposed to be Danes, and you can't see that yet, but since these are supposed to be Danes, we want to put a scope. Let me load in as a character. So since these are supposed to be Danes, we want them to have a scope mounted on the gun, since the Danes use a scope in real life. And I've chosen this, the Spectre scope from RHS. And what you then do in the Gearscript is that you define that scope 2 or scope 1 is going to be this, the RHS Spectre scope. You define that scope 2 is this, which scope it is, and then down here where it says default setup, you can see the attachments. These are the attachments that it calls, and in this case I only have scope 2 because scope 2 is defined as the scope. But if I wanted them to have also an IR laser on it, on the weapon, I could do comma underscore attach 1, and now they would spawn with the RHS spectroscope and a IR laser on the weapon. But since the current weapon that they have does not support a attachment, I can't show it. Same goes for bipods, same goes for scopes, silencers and attachments. Here you have the same kind of setup but for pistols, and in this case I do not want the pistol to have any attachment, so I've left it blank. Here's the weapons. These are the weapons that you define what kind of weapon you want them to have. So in this case the standard rifleman, which as you can see here includes the MMG assistant gunner, the assistant automatic rifleman, the MAT assistant gunner, MTR assistant gunner, and the rifleman. You then define here what weapon they should have. In this case I've given them the Robert Hammer M4, and these are the mags they're going to use, and these are the regular mags without traces, and these are mags with traces. Then you go down the line and you define it for whatever classes you need. In this case, for example, we need the standard rifleman because we have riflemen in our we use rifleman and we use assistant automatic rifleman, and we need the carabiner, which is because we have a medic. So since we have a medic and a rifleman and an assistant automatic rifleman, we need to define the weapons for them. However, we do not need to define the SMG because we do not have an aircraft pilot or a submachine gunner in the mission. So you can just leave these as they are, or you can delete them, you decide. Here's the rifle with grenade and HE grenade, which goes to the CO, the DC and the FTLs. I have defined that as the RHS M4 with an M203. And same deal, here's the ammo that they use, and GL mag is the grenade that should go in the grenade launcher. So here I've put in HE grenade. You don't, in this section you don't define how many of the magazines they get. You just define what kind of magazine do you want to give these soldiers. And in this case I've given them the vanilla because both the RHS M4s support the vanilla mags, and the same does the Robert Hammer M4s, so they can swap magazines if they want. It just all the way down, this is just down to like chemlights. This is just what kind of gear they should get. So grenades, hand grenades, you can change the hand grenade to be anything. You can give them, if you want, for example, you can give them flashbangs, or you can give them Molotov cocktails or rocks from the repo, you decide. And pistol, you can give them whatever pistol you want from the pistol category. And again, you define the magazine for the pistol. So simply looking at what the thing is known as, and then this is the definition that this is what this is supposed to be. So again, this has nothing to do with quantity only, which type are you going to give them. Here we have backpacks. We really don't use any of these backpacks except for the medium and the small. And as you can see in this case, I have given them the Flecton Desert Assault backpack from the creative pack, because I want both they don't spawn with backpacks unless it's MP. Well, anyways, if you launch it in MP, they spawn with backpacks. So they spawn with a Desert Flecton backpack, basically. And again, you define it in here, that back small and back medium is the same backpack. Here you can define what radio backpack the CO should get. And I've given them the Flecton, Desert Flecton backpack. Further down, we see the unique weapons to some roles. For example, the automatic rifleman has a unique weapon compared to other people, as he's the only one who uses a big machine gun. And as you can see, I've defined it as the MG3 from knee arms, and it works the same as the one above, that you define what the weapon is, the magazine, and the magazine with traces, which one you want. Going further down, we get to clothes. Works the same way. Here you can see the basic clothing. The basic clothing is for any unit that is not defined up here. So you can see I have given, if you put them like this, it randomizes between which uniform. It's basically a unit can spawn with any one of these uniforms, so that it's randomly selected, as it says. And you can see that I've given them the desert uniform with the Danish flag from creative, both 1 and 2. The difference is that the sleeves are either up or down, and then I've also given them the regular, well, woodland Flecton uniform from Diva Armories, which you can see here. So it'll randomize between any 3 of these to give. So as you can see, my unit has spawned with a desert woodland one, and if you go look at any of the others, you can see that this guy has spawned with a desert one with the sleeves down, and let's see if we can find one with sleeves up. Here, this one has spawned with the sleeves up. The same goes for vests. If you define, the medium rig is the default one, so you only really need to define the medium one, unless you have, as I said, unless you have these up here that are defined in these, but you don't really need to worry about those. So here you can see that they can spawn with either version 1 or version 2 of the vests, and the difference is that this is the light one. Notice it has no camelback on the back, and it has no drinking hose, and the setup is marginally different compared to this guy who has a radio and a camelback on the back. So again, it randomly selects between these 2 vests and decides which one to spawn them with. Then you have these diver, pilot, crewman, ghillie, and spec ops. These are items given to only people that are defined in these. So for example, if we wanted to give medics a special kind of clothing to distinguish them, let's say in a World War II mission, you want to give them a doctor's suit for some reason. In the spec ops, in the brackets for spec ops, you put this, And now the medic will be spawned with the gear that you define in this in this section. So you can differentiate if you, for example, want to be really specific with gear, you can give like the squad leaders and the FTLs some specific vests or uniforms or helmets to distinguish them from regular riflemen, if you want. But yeah, and that's how the gear works. Now we get to, let's see. Now we get to each role's individual loadouts, and as you can see, that each unit gets called, like they get, in the case of the commander, which is the both the commander, the CO, and the squad leader, you can see that they are spawned with 4 different types of magazines. These 4 different types of magazines are going to be the grenade launcher rifle magazine, which is the non-tracer magazines for the grenade launcher, for the M4 with a grenade launcher. So you can see that what it is defined here, and that directly correlates to what is here, the rifle with a grenade and HE grenades, which is given to them, and that is the magazine that they are issued. And here you can see how many of the magazines they should get. In this case they get 7, and for the tracer magazines they get 2. For grenade launchers, grenades, they get 3, and for grenade launcher smoke grenades they get 4. Here they get given the grenade launcher rifle, which is defined up here as the M4 with an M2 or 3. So that's the rifle they're issued, and here they get 2 pistol magazines and a pistol. And then I have given them 1 grenade, 1 offensive grenade, which has a bigger blast radius and does more, like puts out more shrapnel, and a smoke grenade. They get 2 of them, and a smoke grenade in green. They get 2 of those. If you want, you can change how many of the smoke grenades you want to give them. So for example, if you change the 2 to a 4, they now get 4 smoke grenades instead of 2. But we'll keep it to 2 because that's how I've managed the mission. You can see that I have set the COs to spawn with a backpack. If you want, you can comment out the backpack to prevent a unit from spawning with a backpack, as you can see I've done here. To comment out specific items you don't want a unit to receive, you simply put 2 forward slashes in front of it, and that makes it a comment. So now FTLs will not spawn with a backpack, but squad leaders will spawn with a backpack, and so will medics. They will also spawn with a backpack. Automatic riflemen will also spawn with a backpack to give them more ammunition, and assistant automatic riflemen will also spawn with a backpack. And then you basically, if you've done what I've said you should do, which is note down what roles you're going to work with, which makes it easier to have an overview of what you're going to have in your mission, so you don't sit and, oh, did I have a rat? No, I did not have a rat in this mission. Did I have a DM? No, I did not have a DM in this mission. You can just go, I need to find rifleman, and rifleman is further down. Here, rifleman. So now you know what unit you should look for. So as you can see, I've set these riflemen to get 0 grenades and 4 smoke grenades and no backpack. So now you know what each individual thing comment string, we could call them, in the Gearscript does. Now we need to know how to define them and how to find the class names for use in defining what thing they should get. To do that, and I'm not sure if this is the easiest way to do it, but this is the way that I do it. What you do is you go to the virtual arsenal so that you can play Barbie Dress Up as much as you want, and here, and I have created a blank loadout, which is just no uniforms, no helmets, no nothing, except for binoculars that I usually use for rangefinders, a map, a GPS, and a radio, and a compass, and a watch, which is the usual thing I want them to spawn with, and my favorite face, the Williams face. But you don't have to do that. Anyways, what you do is you select the gear that you want for your unit. So since we are building a mission where we are the Danes, I'll show you how to make a Danish uniform, a Danish loadout. So you find the uniforms that you want, for example. So we would like this uniform because that is a Danish uniform, and we would like this vest because it looks kind of cool, mixing desert and woodland flecton. It's kind of cool, and we should get a backpack for him. We are going to use the creative, this one. We give him a helmet, and we would like to use the creative helmet with desert. We would like to give him glasses, and we would also like to give him a weapon. In this case, we're going to use the M4 from Robert Hammer, which is in Diva, and you pick the accessories for it that you want. So in this case, we would like the spectroscope, and if you want a silencer, you can like pick a silencer, for example this one. So once you're and a pistol, let's just go with the M9 Brera. Once you've picked the weapons that you want to use and the gear, you should pick the ammunition that you want. You can just give them one of each magazine that you want. So for example, we would like just a regular magazine without tracers, and we would like a magazine with red tracers, and we would like to use full metal jacketed rounds for the pistol instead. You should also define here, give the character what kind of grenades you want them to have. If you want to have white smoke grenades and red instead of greens, you can give them one white, one red. And once you've given them the gear that you want them to have, you click export. You open a new window in whatever text editor you want to use. I'm using Notepad with a SQF highlighter, which is kind of nice. So once you've pressed export, you press Ctrl V, and you can see here is the exported from the arsenal. And as you can see, you're getting the uniform class names. You get the magazine class names, the magazine class names for tracer magazines, the magazines for pistols, the smoke grenades in white and smoke grenades in red. You're getting the uniform, you're getting the backpack and the helmet and the goggles, and the weapons with the this is the silencer, and this is the scope along with the pistol. So what you have to do here is just read, and like I'm I'm going to guess that everyone kind of knows a little bit about the weapons and the uniforms that we use. So in this case, because I'm a Dane, I know that the M84 is the name given to this kind of camouflage in the Danish army. It's called the M84. So I know that this is the uniform M84 in that camouflage, and we all know that 5.56 by 45 is the the intermediate assault rifle cartridge that NATO units use. It's basically just either reading reading what you know it is, like Stanek is magazines and tracers red, and or reading like this add backpack means that this is the backpack that you're adding to the unit, and this is the helmet. So all you need is the what we call the class name, or in the quotes, in the quotation marks. So for example, if we were to say, okay, I would like to give the Danish units, since they're blue 4, I would like to give them the option to spawn with the M84 uniform and the desert uniform. You simply click export again, make it on a new line, and now you can see that you can input this uniform class name and this uniform class name in the field that is base uniforms, as you can see I've already done here. Put them in between the quotation marks and separate them with a comma and a space, just a comma, sorry. And now you've defined the two uniforms that they should get. And then you just go and do it for like the rest of the things that you need to define: the magazines, the tracer magazines, the pistol magazines that you need to use, the smoke grenades in different colors you need to use, the helmets, the backpacks, the glasses of face wear if you want, the silencers. So as you can see, if you go to the up here, at the top, you can see silencer. So for example, if I wanted this 5.56 suppressor, I don't like the look of this suppressor, I want them to use the suppressor that I've picked here, I'll just highlight the class name, which is in the quotation marks. I'll highlight name, the class name already defined as the suppressor, and override it like that. And now the silencer 1 is defined as this silencer. So if a unit is going to spawn with silencer 1, they will spawn with this silencer. And then it's defined down here as comma underscore silencer 1. And now all units will spawn with scope 2, which is the Spectre scope, and the silencer 1, which is the silencer that we've just put it in. And that is how you manipulate the Gearscript. It's kind of hard if you're just looking at it on your own and you've never really seen stuff like this before, but hopefully this should make it easier for you to grasp the Gearscript, and for that matter any other script that we use in this framework, such as the backpack Gearscript, which is basically just the same as each unit's individual loadout, but this is just purely for the backpack. So as you can see, the medic backpack, you can give them ACE field dressings, which is the regular bandages, and they get 15 of those if they have a medium backpack. If they have a heavy backpack, they get 25 of them. And you just manipulate whatever you need. So here, since we have grenadiers, which includes the CO, the DCs, the squad leaders, the FTLs, and the grenadiers. Since I have squad leaders and FTLs in my mission, I want to define their backpacks and give them 2 rifle magazines, 1 white smoke grenade for the grenade launcher, and 1 smoke grenade for the just a regular hand-thrown smoke grenade. And you just go through this and define each thing. And that's basically how you use the Gearscript. There's a Gearscript for each. Let me load into my Star Wars and Ice mission again, so I can show you how to see if we open this mission again. So here we have, so you can see that these are NATO units. They are defined as Unit NATO Alpha 2. So the NATO units, the Blue 4, the actual Blue 4 NATO, are going to be the Royal Danish Army Alpha 2 units. But since we are also having British units in the mission, which spawn in a separate place, and we don't want to use the same Gearscript for those, we've put them in as Blue 4 Fear, and then in the assigned Gearscript for Fear, we have defined them with the 3 CB BAF stuff. And then the up 4, which are the forces that we are fighting against, we have defined the things that they are going to use. So they are going, since it takes place in like Afghanistan or whatever, we have spawned them with AKs that are dirty, and they are going to spawn in, as you can see, just regular clothing like bandit fatigues, shemags, turbans, more turbans, those small pakuls, the hats, and I have put them to not spawn with a whole lot of magazines.